Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is the Boom Bar right here on your Boom Radio NG. And I bid you a warm welcome to the bar today. Today promises to be a very interesting one as we're going to be talking about quite a number of things. One of the major burning issues around is the proclamations of President Donald Trump over Nigeria. We're going to be talking about those things. Is it possible? Could he really do those things? Are those things legal? Is that really genocide in Nigeria? Those are the things that we're going to be breaking down a lot. There's been a lot of reactions about 2-3 governors have said a lot of things. Former governors, politicians, even opposition members have had quite a number of things to say about it. Even people across the world have also had things to say about it. A lot of things are popping up from those conversations. So we're going to be talking a lot about that. Also, there's conversations around the conversations that quite a number of conversations also around Nigerian Airlines, how it looks, or not Nigerian Airlines, Nigeria, that it looks like as if there's going to be some stoppage of payment of payment of a lot of air ticket fare actually in dollars. We're going to be talking a lot about that. We'll be wondering is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? We're going to be talking about it. The EFCC is in the news, the NDLEA is in the news as well. Apparently one of the rail lines that just opened 4 days ago has now derailed again. We're going to be talking about it. And there's actually protests in Lagos. I did not know until this afternoon. Apparently, some people have gotten arrested again. There seems to be some protests around PDP secretariat as well. There's so many things we're going to be talking about today right here at the bar. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show with us. Yes, I said us because it's just not only me. My name is Oladips, the one and only. But it's just not me in the studio. It is just Fola and just Esa.
Happy Monday to everyone live and listening and watching.
Nice one.
Okay.
Nice
You are looking for a reaction. You will not get it.
I key into your.
Not today. Not today.
Happy Monday.
You're looking for
everyone.
Yeah.
reaction, not me.
Similar to my thank God it's Monday. I love Mondays. Yeah, because Monday is the start of a new day, new business, new opportunities, and it's a pleasure to be at the bar. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Okay, so we're getting straight into the gist. Of course, we know the gist that everybody's been talking about. President Trump's, U.S. President's proclamations about Nigeria's supposed genocide against Christians, and a lot of reactions that have come up from it. And first things, there was first one post earlier in the day. I think that was on Saturday, if I'm correct. And then, or Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday. Then President Tinubu had replied. There was a reply from the presidency saying that there was the second one, which was like, okay, another tweet that there was. And in my head, I'm like, some of these tweets shouldn't he be sent to the presidency and not put on social media? But anyway, it's President Trump's regime, so he can do whatever he feels like. And then basically saying that he has notified his Department of War, and they were going to basically throwing around threats. I'm sure everybody has seen those tweets out there in the public, and there's now been a lot of reactions. First things first, from the presidency, one of the president's spokesman had talked about how the president of Nigeria and president of the U.S. are in a couple of days going to be having conversations around it, and that there's going to be quite a number of back and forth. However, he also said, as Bwala, that the U.S. cannot come into Nigeria without the express permission of President Tinubu as the president of Nigeria, and it being a sovereign country. There's also been reports that the President Tinubu is supposed to go to the U.S. to meet with the vice president of the United States over this matter. The president has come out to refute that and say that that is not true, that even if there's going to be any conversation, it will be with President Trump and not Vice President J.D. Vance. So that is coming from the presidency. I think that's conversation from the presidency. Now that a lot of people have come out to say, I know that I saw a statement, I think, from Omoyele Sowore, who's supposed to be one of Nigeria's activists and politicians, have come out to say that, those things are not, it's almost impossible. Basically talking against what the President Trump had said. I know that Dele Farotimi, I saw a video of someone like Dele Farotimi saying that, really, is it really about genocide in Nigeria, or that there's an ulterior motive, which is another conversation a lot of people seem to have, that is it really about Nigeria protecting the Christians, or there's an ulterior motive, talking about how there's really nowhere that the US has gone into, that nobody seems to be better off for it. There's another conversation, I think it was on CNN, where I think it was CNN correspondent that was having a conversation that this seems to be like the same thing that the US president said about South Africa a few months ago, talking about there was genocide against white South Africans, but that instead of saying that you want to come and bombard a country, why not give them a leeway that they could come into your country like an asylum, but you will not do that, but you're throwing around threats that you want to bombard someone's country. That those things don't happen. I shouldn't work like that. Coming down, I know that Governor Soludo has talked about how those things, that is actually completely illegal. You can't just throw around some things. Even some pastors, I know that Pastor Kumiya talked about it, where he is even really alleging that is really about Nigeria's resources. I think another pastor, I saw another video of Pastor Wale Adefarasi talking about, it's Nigeria's oil, it's about Nigeria's refinery, and it's about, they want our lithium, they want our oil, that's why it's really not, there's no genocide in Nigeria, talking about people are dying, but it's not really about religious lines, basically, and all that. And you know, on the other side, there's quite a number of people, if you're on social media as well, you see, in fact, I've seen one particular person, white person, that seems to be talking a lot about Biafra and how, that Biafra can help the US set up bases in Nigeria. In fact, that the base should be in Port Harcourt, and that is now ex-Nigeria, that it shouldn't be Nigeria again, that Nigeria should be divided into this. And so there's been quite a lot of conversation around it. I just wanted to give an overview in case a lot of people haven't read it. But really and truly, when we really look back at President Trump's statements, or not even his statements, in the real sense of it, do we actually think there's a Christian genocide in Nigeria? Because I think that's where the conversation even starts from.
I don't think there's such thing happening in this country. I mean, there are a lot of attacks, and this is something that has been going on for the longest time.
Yeah.
Boko Haram has been here for I don't even know how long. And it's never been a case of them just attacking Christians in particular. And I think Trump is using this as a leeway to try to get into the country. First off, I wouldn't claim to know what his thoughts are, but knowing Nigerians, and we have this way of upholding religion over every other thing that is put on the table.
Yeah.
So I think going on social media to put out these statements that, we're coming to Nigeria to help because there is a Christian genocide.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Nigerians on Twitter especially would tend to agree with him. Because
a lot of people seem to.
Exactly. So him going through that way, it's
sort of looking for validation.
Yeah, it's looking for validation from the people, and it's going to be somewhat easier for him to get in through that way.
Okay, I get your point. Now my question is, Esther, before you speak on that, my question is, if President Trump is really passionate about Nigeria and Nigerian Christians, if I remember very well, There's a large chunk of Christians, if not up to half of the population in Borno State, are Christians. Particularly the village or town of Chibok. And we saw how over 200 girls were abducted then. Yeah. Where was the US in this matter? And we've heard a couple of other things like that. Where was the US in that matter? So how come you suddenly just woke up? And I'm not saying that there isn't so much, there isn't insecurity. But if we go 10, 15 years ago, it's not even as bad as what we had before. We could even have concerts and large gatherings, and it was that bad. Where was the US then?
Okay, well, everybody has had to say about this, for and against. There's a trend that I've noticed, and the trend I noticed is that there's a particular part of Nigeria, there's a region in Nigeria that's clamoring for this. That region is not even the region that is being cited for the violence that we're talking about. And cui bono? Who benefits from this? Like, some people have said they wanted to break Nigeria up. In fact, there was this American think tank that said by 2030, Nigeria will be no more. Would have disintegrated and all of that. This is 2025. The funny thing is, a lot of people have different views about this. Could this be that in play? Is that what is in play now? I don't know. But we will find out very soon. Now, where was America in all of these other issues? Why should America be in any issue? Is the question that we should be asking.
Yeah.
Like, don't they have enough on their table? Yeah. Why should one country be the world police? Why do you think that it's your job to tell people how to live their lives? Do you take a look at the mirror at your own life too? Is America really rosy like it used to be?
Not at all.
The gun violence in America, the homelessness, a whole lot of things. But you have money to go and fight wars in other people's countries? Let's think about this thing for once. A lot of people are afraid. Someone said to me, think about visa and whatever. I'm like, look, this is our reality. And you know, the sad part about this is that, I've said it before, I'll say it again, Africa has had useless leaders. If, with the value of what God has placed in the earth for Africa, if it had been used properly, if we had developed ourselves, nobody will come and tell you that they are coming into your country and there's nothing you can do about it. Guns are blazing. That's what he wrote on his Truth Social, you know, that guns are blazing. Do you understand? Nobody. Who's going to say that to America? Who's going to say that to Russia? Who's going to say it to China? Nobody. Would you say to the UK that you're coming into their country, guns are blazing? Would you even say it to Italy or France? Do you understand?
I don't think this isn't the first time that Trump has insulted Africa as a continent as a whole.
Yeah, SO country.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he said that.
So the thing is that it's fine.
Is it?
Let me finish. I think it's fine. Anybody can say whatever it is. If you really detest this Africa so much, let everybody stay on their own. In the real sense of it, geographically, we're very far, very, very far. For you to take a plane from like Nigeria to the US, it's a straight flight of at least 13 hours. It's a very long journey. Why not mind your business? You really don't. You don't have to like anybody.
So, it's obvious that Donald Trump has an ulterior motive.
Yeah,
it is very obvious that he has an ulterior motive. Some of his advisors are on Twitter talking about how they want to set up a base in Port Harcourt.
How is Port Harcourt
now
make it make sense?
Now, there is no report of any religious, ethnic, or tribal war in Port Harcourt.
Yep.
Why are you setting up a base in Port Harcourt you're not talking about setting up a base in Zamfara or Zambisa. You guys are that powerful. Go to Zambisa and set up your base. But you're not doing that. You're talking about setting up. Look, it's obvious that these guys have an ulterior motive. I was watching a snippet of someone being interviewed on NTA, and he talked about how the U.S. Congress people came on a fact-finding mission, and they, of course, granted them permission to come to Nigeria, and they insisted on visiting only Plateau and Benue, and that they were telling them that for a balanced reportage and fact-finding, you should also visit the Zamfara and is it Kebbi or somewhere? They shall mention two, but they did not go there. They only went to Plateau and Benue. Look, we know predominantly that Plateau and Benue have Christians living there. Yeah. You get, and we know that there's been a lot of crises in that axis. That's a fact. You get, but there are 36 states in Nigeria. There's crisis in 4 or 5 states. And it's not as if it's the entire states, because some people parts. Still some parts of those states. But you want to shut down a whole country. You want to shut because you want to save Christians. Yeah? And you see, I see the ignorance in the things that Americans are putting out on Twitter. Like, they believe everything. And if you had an opportunity, I'll ask them. You say 18,000 churches were burnt in Nigeria. 18. Some said 70,000 churches were burnt. I've seen stories of how 7,000 Christians have been killed this year alone. That's what they are saying. Where do they get these figures from? Yes, all sorts of things have happened in Nigeria. And you know the sad part? None of those figures come close to what's happening in their country. But let's all be hypocrites and be afraid because it's America. They come up with all these figures, but it's not true. It's not. So I saw a tweet that is it's said to be by a Nigerian, a Nigerian from the northern part of Nigeria who works with the U.S. military. And according to this tweet, the guy is saying that yes, he swore to protect the U.S. flag or whatever, but that he cannot fight a war against his people when he knows it's based on lies. Do you understand? Everybody knows that there is no Christian. I've said it again. I've said it before. There is no Christian genocide. We said this a few weeks ago when this thing started, and some people are like, I shouldn't be saying. I am saying it again. There is no Christian genocide. Again, it also shows that they don't understand the structure of Nigeria. They don't understand how in the southwest, for instance, Christians and Muslims intermarry and live as one, and you cannot separate them, and there's no conflict. There's no conflict. I see them talking about the Christian South and Muslim North. There's no such thing.
There's no such thing in Nigeria.
Because even up north, there's a large...
There's as much Christians,
chunk of Christians. Apart from the Middle Belt states that we mentioned, there are Christians in Southern Kaduna, plenty of them. You know, there are Christians in Sokoto, different parts. A lot of
them in the northeast.
They're still going to church.
Are you going to
They're going to their churches. Yesterday, churches in Nigeria were full. And if there's Christian genocide, it won't be possible.
You know, it's funny how...
So let's leave the excuse. Let's leave the excuse.
Sit down and let's
and
know
face
what,
the fact.
What exactly do you want?
We know that you have an ulterior motive. Donald J. Trump.
And it seems... it really is beginning to look like it's a lot now. Like, in just a couple of days, you know, a lot more people have been... Even... people that maybe Nigerian opposition that you would have thought that they will maybe is something that will be used as maybe to score cheap political points. Actually all come out to say that this thing you're doing does not make everybody can read between the lines. It's too, and I think that it is a bit juvenile for a president as big as the US. And I think that I think that the US seems to be losing a lot of grip on a lot of countries. So they need to find, I remember seeing a tweet, I think on Saturday, where after he released the first tweet, and someone said, Tinubu must be doing something right. Because it seems like there's a lot of grip that, because remember the conversation, remember the USAID thing, and how Nigeria, Donald Trump had said, they were not going to fund that again. They were shutting it down. And the Nigerian government, I tell you, you know what? Everybody that worked in USAID that works for Nigeria will be absorbed by the Ministry of Health, and nothing has changed. They're going to, and maybe it is time that everybody. I remember in South Africa when they had talked about, I think was he one of these grants too, when he was going on about white genocide in South Africa too, and the president was actually brought out stats and like they are not that much. How much is it that you are really giving our country? You can actually be gone with it. And I think it's actually time that not only Nigeria, Africa as a whole needs to look. Maybe Nigeria would have to spearhead it. It is Nigeria. Maybe the likes of Nigeria, maybe likes of South Africa need to spearhead these things. That, you know what, enough of all these aids back and forth. And you know, I would also say that it's obvious that yes, Nigeria is really hitting America in a lot of places. Remember the conversation of wanting to bring their criminals to Nigeria, to West Africa, that Ghana accepted and Nigeria said they did not want. There was the conversation of wanting to build military bases in Nigeria, and from 1960 up until now, there's still not one foreign military base in Nigeria. So I think those are a lot of things that Nigeria decided, you know what, we're not doing this. We're actually sovereign and want to remain like that. But if we really want to do that, maybe it's time we cut off everything from let everybody, whatever it is that we have, we'll manage it.
So the thing about that is that it's obvious that the powers that be will not allow that. You get, it's obvious that Nigeria seems to be moving in a direction that they don't like.
Yeah.
You know, when it looked like we were always going to be borrowing money to do our budgets and all of that, did they say they were going to enter Nigeria? But now that internally and all the sales that Nigeria is making, you know, for instance, about 10 years ago, some states in Nigeria were getting on the average about 40 billion, or what's it called, from the FAAC account. Now, as at 2024, they're getting times 3, times 4. In some cases, some have increased by 600% from what they were getting before. So there's more funds for Nigeria now. We're not borrowing to pay salaries anymore. No government in Nigeria is borrowing to pay salaries. This was the story up until 3 years ago, but it stopped under this government. These are facts. You understand? Things have not trickled down to the people. I get that part. But it's changing slowly. And I keep telling people that we just need to continue to support our country. Not necessarily support Tinubu or support APC or PDP or Labour, but support your country. When elections come, you can have your divisions. Yeah. But when elections are done, you must get behind your country, the flag and everything. But I see a lot of people who are extremely unpatriotic and they don't care. They don't care. And they don't understand that some of these things that they're doing is going to come back to affect all of us.
Yep.
All of us. Every single one of us.
But anyway, we'll see where these conversations are going to. There's a lot more. In the past 2 days, there's a lot more talk and a lot of more resistance. In fact, I'm particularly maybe more shocked about a lot more pastors that are actually being vocal about this thing and like, okay, and maybe as people that are older, they can actually see and read between the lines that this thing you are doing is not really about Christians. Let's not deceive ourselves and all.
Or the same way some pastors are milking it. I saw one funny guy from Plateau State saying, "Oh, keep pushing. We're almost there."
Almost there to do what?
And he was thanking the American president and all of that.
Is it that people think that they're just going to come? Oh, say they're going to shoot the terrorists and leave? Is that?
That's not all.
One thing that has to happen, though. One thing that has to happen is that the Nigerian military, the Nigerian government, must go all out.
Yeah.
And I think they should be done with all these non-kinetic. Look, this is war.
Yeah.
So they should go all out and take out all these terrorists, whatever it takes. For instance, if you listen to people in opposition at times, you know that they're making sense. For instance, some of these guys are on TikTok. They're on social media posting videos of them.
Yeah, of their monies and they send videos.
They can be tracked, can't they?
They send videos to people to get ransom, and that's the truth.
Can't
Whether
they be
we
tracked?
like it or not, there is. As much as we don't want to talk, we want to talk about the fact that it's not a Christian genocide. There is insecurity. People actually die on a daily basis in some parts. So those things need to stop. Let's remove any sentiment. Those is not normal. It's not normal.
Just like Rabiu Kwankwaso said, the former governor of Kano and presidential candidate of the NNPP, that look, instead of threatening us, help us. Do you understand? I don't even want your help. Personally, I don't.
Don't help
want
anybody.
your help.
Let everybody day
But
their day.
let Nigeria realize that this has to stop.
Yeah, it has to stop. It's been going on
You get-
for more than a decade, if not up to
about
2 decades.
about 15 years
Yeah.
now.
So it gets to a point where whether it's not whether it's a Christian genocide, Muslim genocide, blah blah blah, whatever, it has to stop. Whether you say because the truth is that sometimes we say is those outskirts villages that those things happen. Those people are Nigerians as well. They should be able to sleep and wake up, and the way you and I sleep and wake up and not have to think about there's one insurgency that is coming out. They too deserve security.
Yeah.
That's it. Whether we like it or not, those
And
things need to stop.
Another thing that the Nigerian politicians must realize now, it's really time for that state police.
Yes.
The truth is that the military is stretched. They're fighting on many fronts. The police are not as equipped as they should be. They need more help. We need to move our police force to the next level, use a lot of technology,
more help,
and recruit more people. You get. However, we now know that state police should not be.
Yeah, maybe
by this week it should be something that they should be passing and starting, because what that means is that that's increased security.
Maybe it's time
There'll
that
be more monitoring,
like state
surveillance,
sorts the regular stuff. What the military is doing now for all these labored states, maybe it's time to transfer the Nigerian police to do that as well. You know?
We have the civilian JTF in the north, and those guys are doing very well. Now, just picture if you can now empower them more, recruit more people, train them more. And, there's Amotekun in the southwest. Lagos has its neighborhood watch and everything. It's time to actually start, looking at that state police for every state in the southeast, in the north, everywhere.
So, Peter Mann the Great says, Igbo military veterans in America are the ones who lobbied Trump through Congress and Senator Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is Senator of Texas South, which includes Houston and Austin with large Igbo population.
Yeah.
I think so.
And they put out a statement to that effect. They even put out videos.
I think that the president is being fed, the U.S. president is being fed a lot of bull. But I would really also like to see what...
Do you think so? Let's look at something, yeah? When it comes to intelligence gathering and intel, which country do you think comes first?
America is one.
America,
of the best.
right? So if someone is feeding someone false information, do you think they don't know? You think they don't know?
Okay, I
Qui
get your
bono?
point.
Qui bono? The Americans also know what they are doing.
They know what they're doing. Yeah, I get your point.
It's not possible. Look, every time you hear those things, there's always an excuse. There was the talk of what are we gonna do again? Looking for WMDs in Iraq. They found none. The same thing with Libya.
And all that. Anyway, we'll see how the presidency is going to, and Africa as a whole is going to.
I do not envy Bola Tinubu. This is the fight of his life. Let's hope that he comes. But I just want Nigeria to remain sovereign and stop being bullied by anybody.
Oh, okay. So, Peter Man the Great says, well, Peter Obi needs to kiss his presidential hope goodbye. Okay. I don't know how that came.
Why do you say that? Okay, because of those veterans and all of that. So
maybe a lot of people have actually also come out to say that, as much as, which I've been seeing a lot today, that, which maybe is surprising a lot more people. A lot of opposition leaders have a lot of things to say, and they're talking about Nigeria as a whole and not as opposition or trying to score cheap political points. I've seen a lot of people talk about how, out of everybody talking, Mr. Peter Obi seems to be very quiet.
It's interesting, but the thing about it is that depending on how this thing plays out, it's not looking good for a couple of people, yeah? And for him, in his own scenario, in Peter Obi's scenario, it's a difficult one for him, you get. If it's people, if it's rumored, these people, that veterans, Igbo veteran soldiers, they got a lobby together. Now, they're already fighting on Twitter. Some people are claiming that those guys are claiming victory where they did not work. Because, there are other lobbyists also working for them. Simon Ekpa's people also had lobbyists working for them, you get. But the thing now is that, does he come out to condemn those people? Do you understand? Does he come out to... Does he come out...
dicey situation for him.
If he comes out to condemn them by saying, what Trump is planning to do is wrong, what happens to his base?
But the truth is
if he comes out to say what Trump is doing is right, what happens to the rest of Nigerians? For instance, they are saying Muslims are killing Christians. And a lot of Muslims are forced to come out to say that they are Muslims and they are not terrorists. And you expect those same people to vote
for you.
But also look at it from... But also look at it from the angle where, if he talks about it as Nigeria as a whole, maybe it's better, because now, if you really want to push the agenda of this, and US decides to do whatever it is that they want to do, how do you want to still aspire to president of Nigeria if there's no longer a Nigeria?
No, but what you don't get.
Do you get my point? Like, so
what
at the end of the day, isn't it better to actually advocate that Nigeria stays together?
No.
So that there is a hope that you might even be Nigeria.
You don't know. This is just all hypothetical.
Yeah, they're just conjectures anyway.
So what about the scenarios where some of the countries that America has gone into, they had been influential in putting a government there?
Yeah, okay. So, Peterman the Great still says this veteran group also control the Rising Sun Foundation, the same foundation Nnamdi Kanu mentioned in court as source of funding for his legal battle. Making sense now. Oh, well, there's a lot of
one moment is calling witnesses for his court case. The next moment there's a riot or a protest or an attempted protest. Then the next moment is not defending himself anymore.
But
everything is adding up.
I might actually look at this thing maybe differently, and I think that in the next couple of days or weeks, the way the president deals with this, and especially if it is quelled, I think that is basically fighting for Nigeria's independence all over again. And if they come out at the other side, and everything is fine and dandy, I think it's probably the best thing that can happen to even Bola Tinubu politically.
Yeah, and there's one Fellinga guy also that now become very active. I think is I don't know if he's a politician, but he's from Europe, and he's talking about how Nigeria should be broken up into several countries.
Okay, how did we get to this point?
That Nigeria should be, that it can't work anymore. That
how is this your business?
The time of big countries is gone. And I'm looking at him and I say the time of big countries is gone, and it has to be African countries that should be broken up. Russia is like an entire continent, but they shouldn't be broken up. America is like an entire continent. They should not be broken up. It's Nigeria and Ethiopia and the rest that should be broken.
There's been a lot of talk about that. In fact, Dangote refinery alone is even giving them headache.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying now. That the powers that be do not want you to stand on your own.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying earlier. I don't just want to mention.
Really hope that Nigeria gets out of this, and I think that maybe it is needed. Maybe it is needed to also stamp your authority, and it's time that this is our own thing and this we're moving forward. But definitely we'll follow the conversations as it develops. Now, also the federal government on its own side has now talked about ending ticket sales in dollars by foreign airlines. So what they're saying that they're working towards how when you buy, because you still have to buy tickets with dollars anyway, at least from foreign airlines. So what they're saying that it is also suicidal to the Nigerian economy, especially with the number of the sheer amount of tickets that are probably being bought every day and the number of dollars that are needed. So what they're saying is that they're looking at how when you want to purchase something like an airline ticket in Nigeria, it is paid in Naira.
It's a good thing. A few years ago, under Emefiele as CBN governor, Nigeria found it hard. So what was happening was that all these foreign companies, when they make sales in Nigeria, they are supposed to repatriate their funds back to their home countries. But at some point, Nigeria could not give them their money. So we're talking about billions of dollars. I think as high as $7 billion or something. You get. So they started stopping to do business with Nigeria. Things were just getting harder and harder for them to do business with us. So they started pulling out slowly. But when these guys came and changed things and paid all the debts off, it brought back a lot of confidence in those airlines. So they are back working fully now.
Yeah.
And everything. So based on the recent developments, they won't mind getting their money as long as they get their money. You get. So there's no need for them to force people to go get dollars.
Yeah, and because maybe it still now boils down to the stability of the Naira. So now they can easily, that is whatever you buy is the value that you're still going to get in dollars at that point. We have a comment. Laja 41322 says, we want Biafra. We want regional government that includes South. We want presidency. In fact, we remove indigenship because we are one Nigeria. We don't know what we want. Who are we?
I don't know
very,
that riddle.
Very, very, very valid.
I don't know your riddle.
Everybody is pulling everybody. We want this. This person wants that. That person wants this. You don't.
I'm sure you didn't get the riddle. It's just referring to only one part of Nigeria.
Yeah, I know. But we're just going to.
But me too. I didn't get it, so none of us got it.
We're going to move on.
The funny thing is, a line from that last statement, that last comment from Ladra is that really and truly, Nigeria needs to be restructured. We need to be honest with ourselves. Everybody likes the idea of I don't want Nigeria to be cannibalized, but I think Nigeria needs a weak center and strong regions. So let your region fund itself. You get. And every part of Nigeria is rich. You get, from gas to oil and other deposits and everything. I think Nigeria needs to be restructured, honestly.
Anyway, we'll see where that is going to go. Moving on from that, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency has now come out to say that there's going to be dust, haze, and thunderstorms in the next 3 days. Again, NiMet is not. They don't even to see sun. No, it's only thunderstorm, haze, blah blah blah. That's the list that you put to see. Anyway, most of the time those things are true. So if you know what is good for you, don't mind me. Don't mind me. Follow what they are saying. Don't mind me. I'm just saying my own. Talking about the weather, it's really not been a very good thing around the world. It's been so much around the world. There's a typhoon that has made thousands become evacuate in the Philippines. There's earthquake in Afghanistan that talked about 20 people have been confirmed dead already after a 6.3 magnitude earthquake in Afghanistan. Deadly floods in Spain that has even caused the regional leader to actually resign over it. There's so much. We know that Hurricane Melissa has been ravaging countries in the Caribbean. It's moving from one country to another. I think it's in the third, or it's landed in the third or fourth country right now. It's really hard, but people, please.
I saw the videos out of Jamaica.
Yeah, Jamaica, Haiti. It's
devastating.
It is devastating. So, if NiMet says, yeah, it's not. That's no. Stay in your house. Try and move away from places that are flood prone and all that. Let's please be safe. Also, we have another comment to SR. Chief Shola, regional government is just a peaceful pathway to the peaceful breakup of Nigeria. That was the dreams of our father. 10-year experiment with the clause to break up, but Ironsi removed it.
These are facts also. A lot of people don't like the truth. And when it hurts you, it's actually the truth. You know, because it's the truth. Mm-hmm. You don't want to hear it. Yeah. But yeah, that's the way to, let's be honest with ourselves. That's the way to go. It's the way to go. If you do it, look, Canada is a confederation. It's working. Do you understand? Let's be honest with ourselves. Is this thing really working? You get, as much as I hate what that other idiotic European guy was saying, breaking Nigeria into 30-something countries or whatever, you know, I'm saying regional governments, which of course after a while you can now sit down and look, do you still want to be in this country or do you want to be your own country? Let's be honest with ourselves, because we don't want the same things.
Anyway, let's move on from that. A very interesting story happened today, and the Warri-Itakpe rail had just opened and had just been reopened 4 days ago, and there was another train derailment today again. Now, according to the NRC, they're saying that vandalism caused this, which was just 4 days after it was reopened. But my question is that if you know these things happen, what exactly is the NRC supposed to do? What are the steps that they're taking to stop it? Because at this point, if there are no things to deter it, it's going to keep happening. And first thing in my head is this is complete waste of money. There's derailment with the one that happened in Abuja. Thankfully, nobody died. I'm not sure anybody died in this one as well. But people could have actually died. There's a lot more money that is being used to repair these things back in, day out. The days that these services are suspended is a lot of money that is being lost. It does not make any sense.
It doesn't actually. It doesn't. And the truth is, again, this is war. It's time. And again, who are you going to call? It's the military you will call. Oh, help us monitor rail lines. Do you see how simple things are complicated in this country? Like simple things, fix the rail, you know, put standard gauge or whatever in place, good coaches, but some idiots are still going to go mess it up. The same Warri-Itakpe, I remember a few years ago that the operators of that train will stop in non-designated bus stops to pick passengers up and collect money and put in their pockets. Yeah. The video is somewhere online there. So at times we just look at like, now we're gonna go be the problem now. Now we as a people, you understand. So now it's to be sabotaging rail track that is now business for some people.
Yeah, and I think maybe some people need to be caught, arrested, and jailed as quickly as possible. Me, I even think some of these things should be things like maybe death by hanging. Okay.
I think there should be a way of taking these people that do these things out of the streets.
Okay, so hear my reason for it. There are some things that I feel that we pamper and sugarcoat in this country. Now, you vandalize the rail. A train derails and people die. It's that you are planning to murder people. The minute your intention can lead to the death of people, you don't deserve to be alive. That's it. That's my own. So if some people have quickly died, they have quickly, you know, we might just say that when there was military, it used to be very quick and very... If it's that they give people firing squad, maybe like 5 sets of people quickly, very fast, in 1 month, you go to jail, they send you to court, you are given death by hanging. Your family members, even you and your family members are hung. the rest of people will have sense. Okay, I hear you. I've heard.
I can understand like trying to set a precedent for other people, but death by hanging.
Okay, I've heard you.
Is extreme.
Okay.
Is extreme.
But killing people is not extreme. Planning to kill people is not extreme. I've said it. It's same way someone that drives what's it called?
Trucks?
No, against traffic.
Oh, okay.
So we know that over the weekend, one of the accidents that happened on Otedola Bridge was because one person was driving against traffic. People have died. And you will now tell me that you don't deserve death by hanging. You do. You do. Until we start making some of these things serious, taking some of the people will still continue to be mad. But anyway, the local zone is too much.
I do not see that one. I do not see that at all.
So Peter the Great says Shola is wrong. Blue line is electric. Who papa de born go iron condemner? God will bless you. Remember that I said it in this country.
No.
I said
How am I wrong?
I don't know what he said that was wrong, but I said maybe it's time. I know that maybe Nigeria does not have the capacity yet, but all these rail lines, maybe it's time they become electric. Have you heard that they vandalize a blue line? No. Why? You go there, you fry.
Yeah, that's it.
You fry.
Blue line is electric. Red line is not. And these are metro. That's Lagos Metro. But Warri-Itakpe is actually interstate, and it's supposed to be part of a broader rail network, which will eventually take it to Abuja, Kano, Kaduna, and the rest of that. So, but yeah, it's something that we might not be able to afford at the moment. But if it was the one that we were using, even Ibadan trip by train that takes 2 hours or something, will be shorter.
Yeah.
And the reason why the Ibadan train doesn't move fast or as fast as
It's
you would
because
want
of
it,
people.
there are people always crossing the tracks, people still doing business on tracks.
Make it electric.
So when the train is approaching, you see them
start packing their things. People will not sell stuff on it. People will not cross it. Just make it electric. You touch it, you die. Simple. There's no need to even take you to anywhere. You have already given yourself. Okay, I've heard you. Anyway, the Nigerian police have declared Sowore wanted. At least the police command, Lagos Police Command of the Nigeria Police, has now declared Sowore wanted, saying that he's after he and a few protesters were tear gassed in Lagos for public disturbance. So he had led protesters to the demolition that is happening around Oronshoki area. The police had dispersed them, but he's now been declared wanted by the Lagos Police Command.
Interesting. Sowore just finds a way to insert himself in everything.
Yeah. At this point, I'm like, this is the list of Nigeria's problems. Go and sit at home. Just stop this nonsense. And the truth is that if you really look at what's happening in Lagos with the demolitions, they're not going to stop because you're protesting. So isn't it at this point?
But I saw them giving checks to people from.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the demolitions are not stopping. So where this protest is not going to do anything in the grand scheme of things. So stop this nonsense. We were here when they were talking about the Lagos coastal line. So they still demolished what they were going to demolish. You can't even the noise enter CNN of a landmark, this landmark that. Did it go or did it not go? Let's stop this nonsense and let's face important matter. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about politics, as there's now said to be heavy security at PDP HQ as Abdulrahman Mohammed assumes acting chairman of the party. This came after there was a lot of talk over the weekend as the PDP NWC suspended the legal advisor, suspended the national secretary, and a whole lot of people. So it's very, very interesting, the things that are happening in the PDP. We know also, I think on Friday, the court had stopped that there should also not be national convention that I think they wanted to hold on November 15th as well. So at this point, PDP is really going through it.
Yeah, these are not the best of times for them. Apart from the court pronouncement, some members of the PDP said no, that the court cannot stop them. But of course, you know that if you do something that is illegal, it will bounce back on you. One of the biggest problems that any card-carrying member of the PDP has now is that without a duly recognized secretary and leader
and chairman,
anything you do is null and void.
yeah.
If you, like, for instance, contest an election now and those guys did not sign your form, wasting your time.
Now the conversation now is who's the original chairman.
That's
who's
what I'm
the
saying. So
recognized.
that's why I said that it's going to bounce back.
Yeah,
on
it's
them.
a lot. It's a
Because
lot.
INEC has to recognize
All these people
who is in charge.
Exactly. Also, NNPP it said that about 1,000 NNPP members have defected to the APC in Kano State. Also, a Labour Party in Kaduna State has collapsed in 2 local governments. They've collapsed all their structure into YPP.
All right.
In Kaduna State
That's
as well.
finally something different.
Than the APC.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Maybe it's time to look at. Looks like the YPP seems to be gaining ground, but I will not be surprised if a few.
And it's not even ADC that they went to.
No, YPP. It's YPP. They are going to.
But ADC is the one that people
Why
have been.
At this point, do you know that
They say they're going to form
I'm
the
not
next
a politician.
government.
I'm not a politician. I don't know what is happening at this point. But anyway, still talking about politics. So in Tanzania, there's the new president that's the old new president. There's been a lot of talks, and in fact there's been a lot of protests right now. There is also an internet blackout as the Tanzanian president seems to be sworn in, and the talks of how she had arrested all opposition leaders, and I'm like, why do we do this in Africa? Why? Which is why Nigeria needs to stay, at least give Africa a semblance of this is how democracy should look like.
That woman is a fast learner.
Because at this point, I don't understand what's happening. There's talks of literally, there's not even talks. There's literally an internet blackout. They say all our opposition leaders, all our opposition members were arrested before the election.
Is that an election?
She won the election by 98%. She won like.
Is that an election when there's no opposition?
In fact, and now a lot of people are talked about. I think the AU had congratulated her, and a lot of people are saying that these are the things AU should not
Why
be able to. Why are they congratulating? Like, when is the AU going to really speak against all these schools and all these presidents that are too old and they are there for 5, 6, 7, 10 years? And like, when is the AU really going to speak against these things?
Especially the fact that it's an unjust election.
It doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense.
No, Laja says Boom Radio NG has collapsed the structure and joined the BCI district. No. We are where we are. We are. Don't worry. We are not collapsing anything.
The truth is that it's hard for people to believe the truth. That's the truth. You get. And a lot of people in the media, even especially online, they would rather go where they'll get the crowd, like the biggest way for you to grow online is to be against government.
Yes, sir.
But what we do is balance. If government does well, kudos. If they don't, case in point, remember when they said they were going to pardon some people? We didn't endorse it. It doesn't make sense. Funny thing is they reversed.
Anyway,
but thanks for the joke though.
Yeah. at this point, just breeze through a bit of sports. Super Eagles coach seems to be there's going to be a list very, very soon for the Eagles squad. We know that I think next week the playoffs are going to happen next week. So everybody's looking forward to the squad that Mr. Eric Shell is going to release. Also, Kebbi FA chairman has now denied misappropriation of the FIFA mini stadium funds. There's a particular guy on social media that is really been hitting the Nigeria Football Federation about misappropriation of funds, basically.
Yeah.
And now everybody has something to say. NFF is explaining. It's nice to for
even
once.
From my NFF people are explaining.
it's good to hear some shalaye sometimes. It's actually good.
While some of the stories are exaggerated, some of those things actually means that they should be investigated.
Yes,
So
I agree.
the NFF also needs to be transparent with their transactions.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, going to the EPL after the interesting EPL matchups over the weekend, Wolves have now sacked their coach, saying that they've not won a game. I think they've only had one or two draws. They've not won a game in this after 10 games. But really, after 10 games, would we say that is enough to sack somebody? No, we know that, and Postecoglou did only 39 days. I get it, but still, even that one safe, I think that is a lot.
I think no manager has what's it called? They don't have the time anymore to try and instill the system that
you
they
mess
want.
up, you're gone.
You mess up, you're gone, and that's how it's been for like the past 5-6 years.
But the truth is, those things really work, because at the end of the day, you still need the manager still needs to help the player. Everybody still needs to get integrated into each other. So does it really work?
I mean, you can look at Chelsea before it used to work for Chelsea. The whole sack and hire. It used to work because sometimes they would win the odd trophy here and there, but generally as a system or as a structure, it doesn't work at all, because each manager has a different style of play, different preferences in players.
Does that even help with even the players itself?
No. It's
not even good, because now, like you said, each manager has his own style of play. One person comes, scatters the system, another person comes. I think it's actually really not fair on the players as well.
I totally agree.
But anyway, we'll see who the next person is. The truth is that if you look at the Premier League, for example, or even a lot of leagues, it's become a lot more competitive, a lot more teams that you would not think would be. We could say it's early days, but early days or not, those points add up. Those points, days that I feel that you will not be at your best, those points that you had racked up before, that you have gotten over people, would obviously help you. We'll see what Bournemouth is doing. We'll see what Sunderland is doing. That it's not a bad race at all. We see from the first to like the 10th, whatever everybody is, maybe one person. Okay, take for example, at some point, I think on Saturday when United was leading, they were second. The minute they drew that game, they jumped all the way to 6. I'm like, okay, how did we get to this point? Yeah, everybody is just leading everybody with such little, and I think it's good for the game. Yeah. Everybody is we're past the point where you already know the people that will be in top 4. I think that matter is out the window now.
I think this just reinforces the fact that Premier League is the best league in the world.
But if you also look at La Liga, it's actually happening as well.
Is it?
Yes.
It's not.
I think really that, not. Okay, take for example, we talk about the setup, you talk about Real Madrid and Barcelona. Even if you see their games, even the ones that they're winning, they're not winning outrightly and beating everybody else.
Yeah, I can't.
Like Jonathan, like before, even the ones they win, there's maybe like a 2-1, 3-1. You see that they actually have to pull their weight to win those games anymore. Yeah. It's not like before.
La Liga is a 2-horse race.
It's a 2-horse race.
No, we know that they're going to win.
Before, it used to be 3 at least.
We know they're going to win. We know it's either one of them. But it's not as easy as it used to be anymore.
Yeah, but they'll still win the league.
Oh, God.
If you check, for the past 5-6 years, no other club apart from Barca and Real Madrid have won it.
Not 5-6 years. Which
now,
other
this
person
is
has
not,
ever
let's
won
go
it
that
before?
time.
This is not saying that the La Liga is not a strong league, but I don't think it's as competitive as the it doesn't mean that the British league is better. Because when you're talking quality now, you also need to look at, for instance, they all have almost the same number of teams making it to Europe. How far do these teams go? What kind of results do they get? You get. So I'm not saying that they are stronger than La Liga. I'm just saying that La Liga, you're almost sure
that is one of these four.
Madrid and Barcelona will finish in the top.
In the top two.
Top three, you know them.
Yeah,
you know the top
Barcelona, Madrid, and Atletico.
The other Madrid.
Anyway,
the Red Madrid.
that is what we have to take on the bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for the comments. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you another wonderful edition of the Boom Bar. Do have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead.